Welcome to this information session on working together to help ensure a safe and timely return to work journey for workers who have been injured on the job. Successful return to work programs require teamwork. This session is focused on two integral parts of that team: employers of workers who have been injured and third-party providers who have been engaged by employers to support return to work. The intent of this session is to outline the roles and responsibilities these parties have in helping achieve effective return to work outcomes. The information in this video has been provided by WCB Nova Scotia. WCB Nova Scotia is a leader in promoting a culture of workplace safety in Nova Scotia. We create and support a broad range of workplace injury prevention programs and safe work initiatives, including promoting and supporting quality return to work programs. We are the province's provider of workplace injury insurance, serving more than 20,000 employers and 335,000 workers. WCB Nova Scotia is committed to fulfilling our mission of preventing workplace injury. And if a worker does experience an injury, we provide security from its impact to workers and their families. We work to reduce the human, emotional, and financial impact of workplace injury. Depending on the injury, we offer services such as healthcare benefits, temporary earnings replacement benefits, and long-term benefits for those who are not able to return to work. We also collaborate with workers, employers, third-party providers, and healthcare providers to support a safe and timely return to work. If a workplace tragedy occurs, we provide support in the wake of workplace tragedy and are there to help support the families left behind. The goal of a quality return to work program is providing a supportive path for workers who have been injured to stay at work or return to work in a safe and timely manner. Successful programs include financial support during recovery, identifying modified or transitional work duties to aid recovery by focusing on what the worker can do safely, and promoting engagement and connection with the worker throughout the recovery process. There are many benefits to a safe and timely return to work. Return to work programs provide workers who have been injured with role clarity and direction to get the support they need. They help minimize the financial impact of time loss injuries and help keep skilled and experienced workers on the job, and ultimately promote a healthy, vibrant working Nova Scotia. Some employers choose to collaborate with third-party providers because of their WCB claims management expertise. Through collaboration with WCB caseworkers and healthcare providers, they help employers identify and focus on their role of supporting a worker who has been injured to stay at work or return to work safely. Third-party providers offer support to implement personalized return-to-work plans for the worker, including helping managers and supervisors understand their role in the plan and identifying transitional work options. Because the return-to-work journey is not a linear process, a successful return-to-work program with a third-party provider requires some key elements. Some of these include ensuring the worker who has been injured is well-informed and at the center of return-to-work planning throughout their recovery, a motivated and supportive employer, a third-party provider who works closely with the worker and employer in managing their claims, treatment, and return-to-work plans, a healthcare provider who stays connected to return-to-work planning, and all parties involved collaborating with WCB. Sharing information with a third-party provider is essential for their involvement in the return-to-work process. The authorization must be provided in written form. Only then can the WCB share any claim-related information with a third-party provider. The employer is responsible for providing updates if representation changes, and authorization must be renewed annually. The WCB will not share any information with a third party unless all these steps are followed. My Account is an essential tool for employers, allowing 24/7 access to their WCB account and claim information. As an employer on My Account, you can also send and receive messages and share documents securely with the WCB. If an injury occurs, the fastest way to report the injury and open the claim is through My Account. My Account allows an employer to provide claims-only access to a third party so they can create and submit return-to-work claims information. For employers, granting the third-party provider with access to claim information allows the third-party provider to support the employer in return-to-work planning and communications. Claims only does not give access to account financials or the ability to add, modify, or change users. It is important to note, especially for third-party providers, that there are claims management protocols and programs that are specific to Nova Scotia. In this province, return-to-work planning can begin immediately, even when a claim is still pending and forms are being finalized. A third-party provider should assist the worker in completing the injury report, and the report must be submitted by the employer within 5 business days after reporting the injury. The employer may incur fines if there is a failure to do so. The Direct Access to Early Assessment of Sprains and Strains at Work is a program that enables workers to go directly to a WCB contracted healthcare service provider for an assessment within 3 days of referral. They provide timely information about a worker's functional abilities, allowing the return to work process to start right away. An early and safe return to work requires a team effort. Having clarity on roles and responsibilities is an important aspect of a successful return to work program. Understanding your role allows for better communication, decision-making, and outcomes for workers and employers. Employers have key roles and responsibilities throughout the return to work process. First and foremost, they must promote a safe and timely return to work mindset as part of their workplace culture. When working with a third-party provider, specific responsibilities include communicating with the provider when an injury occurs and completing the authorization that gives the provider access to relevant information. Employers should collaborate in developing a worker's return-to-work plan, including helping identify and provide transitional work when the worker is able. The employer should communicate care and concern for the worker who has been injured throughout the process, and welcome them back with safe and meaningful transitional work to support them as they recover, when it's safe to do so. To help ensure employers complete their roles and responsibilities in an informed manner, there are specific types of information and support they can expect throughout the process. Some of this information includes a worker's claim entitlement information, functional assessment reports from the healthcare provider, and updates on plans and invitations to case conferences. They should also be provided with return-to-work recommendations, accommodation requests, guidance on transitional work options, and temporary work restrictions and limitation details. The third-party provider acts as the employer's return-to-work point person. Their roles and responsibilities along the return-to-work journey include promoting return-to-work policies and programming for employers and workers, coordinating return-to-work planning, tracking injury data, and communicating updates on injury claims, communicating clearly with all parties involved in the return-to-work process, including the worker, employer, healthcare provider, and WCB caseworker, supporting the worker throughout the return-to-work process, and keeping them well-informed and at the center of return-to-work planning. It's important to note that third-party providers do not have decision-making authority related to the outcomes of WCB claims. Let's go through an example of what it looks like when collaborating with a third party. While working, Jude injures her ankle when she slips and falls on an unmarked wet floor. She immediately informs her supervisor of the injury. The employer informs the third-party provider of Jude's injury. The third party then reaches out to Jude. During Jude's first contact with a third party, she accurately provides them with all the information she has regarding the injury. The third-party provider then works with Jude to complete the WCB injury report and asks Jude what work she presently feels capable of doing. The third party answers any questions Jude may have, helping to put her at ease. Jude informs the third party she feels that she could perform transitional work that doesn't involve moving around. The third party then refers Jude to a healthcare provider for a functional scan to assess limitations and restrictions. At this point, the healthcare provider, WCB, and the third party collaborate in supporting Jude on her return-to-work journey. The healthcare provider conducts an injury assessment and compares the assessment with the demands of Jude's pre-injury job requirements. They then provide their report to the WCB and third party. In a timely manner, the WCB caseworker communicates clearly with Jude and continues helping develop her return-to-work plan in collaboration with Jude and the third party. The healthcare provider determines that Jude is not capable of the physical demands of her pre-injury work. The healthcare provider shares their assessment of Jude's abilities, restrictions, and limitations with the third-party provider. The provider then shares this information with Jude and her employer. Throughout Jude's return-to-work journey, collaboration continues between the third-party provider, the employer, and Jude. The third party facilitates discussions with Jude and the employer to determine if she can be accommodated through transitional work. They then assist the employer in planning and offering a transitional work program and share the plan with the WCB caseworker. The employer participates in discussions with Jude and the third party, collaborates with the third party in return to work and treatment plans, and supports Jude in adjusting to her transitional work. Jude participates in discussions with the third-party provider while actively participating in her return to work and treatment plan and transitional work program. She keeps her WCB caseworker up to date on her progress. With Jude, her healthcare provider, employer, WCB caseworker, and third-party provider all having played their role in creating and supporting her return to work plan, Jude returns to her pre-injury duties in a safe and timely manner. The following are some key points to take away from this information session. A safe and timely return to work helps provide a better quality of life for workers, their families, and their communities. Returning to work is not a linear process. It requires consistent collaboration and communication between all parties. It is important for all parties to understand their roles and responsibilities in the return to work journey. Third-party providers and employers should understand the particulars of claims management in Nova Scotia. And finally, it is important to always keep the worker's well-being at the center of the process. To find out more about all things return to work, visit wcb.ns.ca/workingtowell.